Plotinus Third Ennead, Second Tractate. On Providence I. Introduction. The world appears unjust. Is providence real? Plotinus opens by posing the classical objection to providence. If the gods care for the world, why is there injustice, suffering, and disorder? Why do the wicked prosper and the virtuous suffer? Why are some born into misery, others into wealth? This challenge, raised by Epicureans, Gnostics, and skeptics, calls into question the very coherence of divine governance. Plotinus responds not by denying the existence of evil or by defending every particular event, but by redefining what providence is. Providence, for Plotinus, is not a deity micromanaging events, but the eternal, unified vision of the divine intellect, Nous. It is the cause of order, form, and harmony, not through interference, but through emanation and presence. What is providence? A divine vision of the whole. Plotinus roots providence in his standard Neoplatonic hierarchy. The one beyond being, the source of all. Nous, intellect, the realm of forms where all things exist in their perfected archetypes. Soul, the dynamic life of the cosmos which contemplates Nous and generates the world of becoming. Providence, pronoia, is the activity of Nous, contemplating the forms. In this eternal contemplation, all beings are present together, ordered, complete, and harmonious. From this vision flows soul, which projects the world into time. Thus, providence is not a sequence of interventions, but a timeless structure, a divine blueprint of the cosmos. It is beyond time, yet it gives rise to time. It is beyond change, yet it governs change. 2. Providence is not a planner, but a principle. To modern ears, providence may suggest a personal God who watches over individuals, making decisions and performing interventions. Plotinus sharply distinguishes his vision. Providence is not a willful deity crafting events moment by moment. It is the radiance of order that flows from the one through Nous and into soul. It is intellectual, not temporal, a mode of being, not of acting. The world does not happen because a God chooses this or that, it happens because the intelligible world overflows into manifestation. Things are not governed by divine volition, but by presence. The forms are, and so the world is. This metaphysical model allows Plotinus to reject both atheistic materialism and personal theism, offering a third way. The cosmos is the image of a perfect thought, and what appears random below is structured from above. 3. Why does evil exist in a world governed by providence? Plotinus now turns to the problem of evil, the strongest challenge to providence. His answer follows from his metaphysics. Evil is not a substance or a force. It is privation, a lack of form, a consequence of distance from the one. In the necessary procession from unity to multiplicity, there must be degrees of being. And the lowest degrees are necessarily imperfect. Thus, what we call evil is a byproduct of finitude. It is not willed by the divine, but results from the necessary structure of a cosmos that contains both unity and diversity, perfection and limitation. Even this imperfection plays a role, it is part of the whole. In the full vision of Nous, everything and every event has its proper place. Just as shadows are necessary for visual contrast, so too does apparent disorder contribute to the total harmony. 4. The limits of human vision, why we misunderstand providence. Plotinus emphasizes that human beings do not see the whole. We perceive events in sequence through the lens of individual interest and limited time. As a result, we judge providence from the wrong vantage point. He compares this to someone criticizing a painting by looking only at a corner. If we saw the full picture, the whole cosmos in all its interwoven relations, we would see that everything has its role, its necessity, and even its beauty. This is why philosophy is needed to train the soul to rise above the level of partial appearances and to contemplate the intelligible order behind them. The philosopher does not ask, why do I suffer, but what is the role of this event in the great harmony? On the individual soul's fate, just or arbitrary. Plotinus affirms that souls are not randomly placed into bodies or fates. He argues, anticipating the next tractate, that the soul chooses or deserves its lot based on its prior life, its character, and its own tendencies. The soul's condition in this life reflects a justice embedded in the structure of being, not imposed from without, but arising from the soul's own nature. This is not moralistic punishment, but ontological consequence. What the soul is, it becomes. What it contemplates, it incarnates. Thus, the soul is not victim, but participant in providence. 6. The role of providence in the goodness of the cosmos. Plotinus ends by reaffirming his optimistic cosmology. The universe is not a battlefield of good and evil, it is a living, harmonious whole with each part playing its necessary role. Even what seems ugly or cruel contributes to the total beauty of the system. Providence ensures that the overall design is good even if some parts are dark when seen in isolation. The wise soul sees the world not as a place of exile but as a stage for return where every event is an opportunity to ascend, to purify, to awaken. Conclusion: Providence as the structure of divine vision. On Providence I, Plotinus elevates the idea of divine governance to its highest philosophical form. Providence is not a reactive deity managing crises, it is the very structure of intellect, the eternal harmony of forms radiating through soul into the cosmos. What appears as disorder is a local distortion of a global order. What appears as evil is a necessary shadow in the light of being. What appears as randomness is the unfolding of meaning too vast for temporal minds to grasp. The challenge, for Plotinus, is to lift the soul out of complaint and into contemplation, to see as Nous sees, and thereby to understand that all things are under providence, and that nothing escapes the good.